Hello, Daisy Cakes. This is Daisy X Machina, the Drag Queen detective who investigates all things speculative and science fiction, fantasy, and horror. And this is a Get Ready With Me where I get into drag, to film a video later today. And I just want to get right in that I'm wishing John and his wife all the best. He shared that his wife had a heart attack last Sunday, which is awful, awful. I'm really sorry, John, that you had to go through that, but thank you for at least stopping in and wishing us happy holidays. So, yeah, that really, it's a tough one. Lynette's here, and Frank's here, and, oh, by the way, I was thinking about canceling today because today is my birthday. So I was thinking, should I cancel it for my birthday? But then I was like, what else am I going to do? I love being here with you guys. So I thought, well, let's just go ahead and do it. But later tonight, as you know, I live in Vegas. Dennis and I are going to see David Copperfield. I've never seen him before. He's like the most famous magician in modern times, or one of them. So, and he's still doing his thing. So we're going to see what it's like, and we'll have a dinner and whatever. Okay, so how is everyone's reading going this week? I'm still reading Wind and Truth by Brandon Sanderson. It's a epic fantasy. It's his longest book he's ever written. It's like over 1,300 pages. So I'm just going to enjoy reading it. I am going to film later today my top 10 books of 2024, and I'm going to include it in there because I don't want to kick it to next year, and I don't want to force myself to read it just to finish it for the top 10 books, but I know it's going to be in the top 10. If the ending, for some reason, really changes my mind, I'll do a retraction later. But as it is, I know where it's going to go on my top 10 list, and that's what I want to film today. Yeah, and I'll probably, I'm about, I don't know, somewhere between 30 and 50% of the way into the book. So who knows how long it will take me to finish reading it. But if it's anything like the other Sanderson Way of King books I've read, it comes to a point where I can't put it down. You know, even right now, it's like I'm just like, I have to finish the chapter, and then sometimes I'll go, well, I'll just do one more chapter. But there comes a certain point in novels that I really enjoy where I just can't put it down. So I'll just keep reading. Okie dokie. Thank you. Yeah, I was wondering, I was talking to my friend Sean, my best friend Sean, who still lives in San Francisco or the Bay Area. And he was saying the same thing, because I was saying, oh, we're going to see David Copperfield. He's like, what's he going to disappear? Because sometimes he does those, or he used to do those big events of like disappearing a car or an airplane or the Statue of Liberty. Finally reading The Dinner by Herman Koch, a modern classic. I don't know that one. Oh, you finished On Earth as on Television, original story, but the children were very annoying. 4 to 5. I never thought of that, but you're right. Actually, the children didn't bother me. The most annoying character, well, was also one of the children, was the teenage daughter. I think she's one of the main characters. DK is here. I have about 100 pages. Oh my gosh, DK Moo, thank you for joining us, because 100 pages seems like a lot, but that's like the very, very end. So, yeah. Again, this is for fans of epic fantasy. If you're not into epic fantasies, you probably will never read the Stormlight Archives. But I didn't know until I picked it up and I read something that this is the conclusion of one of the story arcs in his Stormlight Archives. Because I think he's planning another 5-book series after this, but it's kind of nice that it's wrapping up at least this storyline. But we'll see. Yes, Heather was annoyed too. That's it. Those kids would have been standing in a corner often if I was their mother. Hey, Cool Gamer's here. Thank you for joining us. I often see Cool Gamer in Lisa Daly's live stream. So I assume you're also a writer. So, okay, so what am I going to do? So I'm going to do my year-end 2025 video. So I was thinking purple and gold, which is what I usually do. So. Is that happy birthday for me or someone else? I beg your pardon. A crazy person here keeps wanting to know the same thing over and over again. Happy birthday to you, Frank. I believe it was last week, but today, this very day is my birthday. So, and I was wondering if I should have taken today off for the live stream, but I actually like being here with you guys. And in my time zone, which is Pacific time zone, it's actually noon. So I'll do this makeup and do a video in like 3 or 4 hours. So there'll be plenty of time for me to get ready to go out with Dennis later tonight. So let's lay on some purple. Love the cat. Yeah, and I love the cats too. Just started Stormlight in November. Good to be reading lots again. Wow, you just started the whole series in November? That's pretty impressive, DK. Okay, Frank, you're going to be 70 on Tuesday. I am exactly 10 years younger than you, Frank. Which is really an annoying age. I mean, it didn't bother me like turning 30 or 40 and or even 50, but 60 just sounds like you should be retiring. But I know they say, oh, age is just a number, but for those of us, I can't talk. For those of us who know, there is physical limitations or challenges as you age that might not have been there if you were in your 20s or 30s or 40s or even 50s. I mean, you start feeling things at 50, but I know the decade from 60 to 70, there's some big physical changes, at least that I've seen from like parents or whatnot. So. Okay. Man, I am really eyeballing this makeup today. Good enough. Would love to be 10 years younger than I am. I've been saying the same thing. I want to make it to 100, but the current state of the world has lessened the desire. Now I'd be happy to live long enough to see humankind make it to Mars. Especially if Elon decides to go there on a one-way trip. Once you get about 25, aging gets mostly non-beneficial, but it beats the alternative, right? Absolutely. Yeah. The brain doesn't fully mature or harden until 25. I personally think sort of the best decade is your 30s because you're not like trying to find yourself or start a career usually. That usually all happens during your 20s and you care too much about what people think and sort of establishing yourself. And you're not at your 40s because 40s is when you start really feeling like some physical, you feel gravity a little bit more, but your 30s is just right between those two stages of life. And I don't know. I guess if you're like really young, you 30s may seem old, but it's to me it's just like the perfect time. Huh, I thought I went with a lighter shade of purple here, but it's okay. Okay. Most people know their way around by 30. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, Lynette. My 30s were horrible. My sons were teenagers when I was, man, you started young. You had kids young then. I mean, it feels that way because I can't imagine having teenagers in my 30s. But yeah, I never had kids, so my outlook is a lot skewed. Teens can be rotten horrible. My youngest son was an easy teenager, but the other two were tough going. If we could know what we know now and be 20 is the dream. Yeah, we could rule the world. I don't know if I'd want to rule the world, but yeah, if I guess if there was a time machine that could move my consciousness back to my 30s, my 20s, it would. I could enjoy the 20s a lot more. I think my parents were in their 40s when I was a teenager. I don't want to get into it, but it wasn't a very pleasant time for me, but I'm sure it wasn't pleasant for them too. Book I am reading now about two teens from good stock that committed a crime that goes world viral. Sounds like the Menendez brothers. Although they were older, right? I didn't see the Netflix show. I remember seeing the news articles about the Menendez brothers. I mean, at the time it was happening, but I'm not a big fan of true crime, so I don't usually follow it. But oh my gosh, Lynette, between 19 and 24. Wow. My mom was 21 and dad 26. And just think what you just said before, Frank, that the brain isn't fully developed till you're 25. So, yeah, those are very young ages. Yeah, I have a friend that's going through it with a stepdaughter who's 15, I think, who joined the family or joined as a stepdaughter, like I guess when she was 13, 14. So I guess that seems pretty rough to deal with the teenager that you didn't raise that just sort of comes into your life. Yeah, I never had a big desire to have kids, but being a gay man who came of age in the 80s during AIDS, it was the idea of kids um, was different than maybe it would be if I was coming of age now, where it seems like there's a lot more real options. Because the only men I know or knew, like in the 90s, that had kids were people that came out late and had a wife and children. And no judgment for me. I always came out early, even during that time period. But I could almost see if I was born like a decade or two earlier, or just had a different circumstance of feeling like I had to hide and get married and have kids. Okay. I'm going to let the Demon Bros out soon. The Demon Bros. Is that your dogs? And Tech Watson of Manson fame. Oh, it is fiction, not true crime. Oh, you're talking about that, the book. Went to the ATM during the weekend. It froze, and now I have no card. Ooh, bummer. Exactly, especially before Christmas. Oh, yeah, I heard about that. The Amazon driver strike. Okay, what am I doing? do want to add some black now. Yeah, I think what do I think? Well, I support the strike too, but my feeling has been that for capitalism to really work in the modern times, there really needs to be some sort of profit sharing with the employees. And I kind of wish it would be mandated that 80% or 75 or something of all profits, not including the salaries, goes back to the employees, because then they have the buying power to buy more things. And if we are a consumer economy, you kind of need that circuit of money going to the workers who are producing things so they can buy things. Then you could even have like a national sales tax. You can't have it now because it only works if the population has the revenues to purchase, has the purchasing power. Anyway, I'm sure no one agrees with me. Certainly in on Wall Street, the owners of stocks would never allow anything to pass that would drive the profits back to the workers. Okay, I want to. Don't have an ATM card anymore and don't miss it. You know, I have to tell you something. I used to use my ATM card all the time, but I almost never use it now. I don't know why. Well, I guess I use a credit card, but I had some mindset where I always like to have cash. And I don't know if it's the way I was raised or for whatever reason, I always felt I needed to have, cash in my pocket, but not so much anymore. I had to transfer money to my son's account and he got cash out for me. System needs drastic reform or one day the pitchforks will come out. To change details with PayPal, pause. Oh my gosh, Lynette. Some companies have some kind of profit share. Yeah, but those are almost always privately owned companies. They're not publicly traded companies. We're at the start of the pitchfork era. I like to have cash, yeah. Yeah, who was that? I forgot the name of the guy who shot the United Healthcare executive. I mean, obviously, I don't approve of that, but it certainly has triggered a conversation about healthcare that I guess time will tell if it has any legs. Seems like we have, at least here in the U.S., some healthcare debate every few years. Okay, I think this is the purple. I'm going to stick with. Okay. That's his name, Luigi Mangione. Tried to send $5 to a company on PayPal, but ended up spending it, or sending it to myself. Perp walk was overkill. The terrorist charges are overkill as well. He's a hero to millions. Bigger than the Unabomber prep. At least this guy has a shower. Dylan Roof killed 9 trying to start a race war, and he wasn't charged with terrorism. All I could think of was oranges at Luigi's color. Terrorist overcharging is pandering to the right. Well, they're gonna find, and I think they've already found, the right isn't, also doesn't like healthcare, and some on the right aren't. I don't like say he's I don't like canonizing Luigi, but the right isn't unified in the isn't unified in supporting health insurance companies. Okay, anyway, let's start. Just mapping it out, my eyeshadow. So who else can't believe the year is over? 10 more days and it's 2025. Okay. It isn't right versus left, but poor versus the very rich. Most rich are right. I don't know if that's true, but there are a lot of rich that are right. We had a robo-debt scandal in Australia. Those in power decided to balance the budget by going after the poor. Yeah, some people always go after welfare. Never watched Orange is the New Black any good. I haven't finished watching it, and I don't know if I will because it's kind of depressing, but the first couple seasons at least were really good. I think I watched 2 seasons. But if you like, you have to like prison movies, that type of thing. People with mental breakdowns committed suicide before it was proven the scheme was illegal and most people owed nothing at all. Wow. Wow. Yeah. Oh, I was telling you guys, I was in the hospital excuse me, for 5 days for the Guillain-Barré's, and the hospital bill was 250,000, and but because I had insurance, they deducted 230,000, so the bill was 20,000. So all the rich, well, I don't know if the people I know that have that are wealthy, are considered wealthy, also have to have insurance. Um, and I know they have insurance, although they have it with like really high deductibles, because you have to have those, um, the insurance discounts for or hospitals are going to just ruin you, if that makes sense. So yeah, even people with money have issues with insurance, health insurance. Um, okay, I'm gonna do gold. Now, I just need something sticky, and I usually do, I'll just do yellow again. I don't think it really matters, the color, because it covers up. Anyway, you guys don't care about that. Okay. Uh, Project 2025 is nuts, because I don't really think Trump would embrace the entire 2025, but appears that he's embraced some of it. Anyway, Royal Commission 900-page report with a sealed section which named people who should face prosecution. Huh. Recently it was decided not to prosecute because it wasn't in the public interest. I agree, Frank. People should not go bankrupt due to healthcare bills. Like I was saying, even the rich or the wealthy, I guess, unless you're Warren Buffett or somebody, have to have insurance, even if they choose to have high deductibles, because you really have to have that. The rates that insurance companies apparently negotiate for healthcare bills. Otherwise, instead of $20,000, they'll charge you $250,000, which I just can't get over the difference. Okay, now I have to quickly press on this gold dust. Okay, I think. Hey, Moody's here. Thank you for joining for a bit. Okay, we're talking about the healthcare, Trump letting January 6 rioters free, and healthcare system irrational. Scared every time I received a letter from the government in case I got a debt of thousands of dollars. Regarding a physics book by Professor Sean Carroll, hopes it explains many of the world's theory of quantum mechanics, but so far can't make heads or tails of it. You know, there's I forgot her name, but there's this interesting YouTuber. I think she's a physicist from the Netherlands or something like that. And she has sort of amusing and accessible little videos about quantum mechanics and physics and that type of thing, and string theory. Studied physics at grade 12 level, but I do not understand quantum mechanics. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mooney, for complimenting my makeup. Okay. I think I'm going to add to this gold some chunky gold glitter. Oops. Just a little dash. Really, this is just to make it refract in the light a little bit. I'll just... Okay. Oh, your mom has a PhD in physics. And she was, after high school, she said, I'm never going to study physics. So there must be a story why she got her PhD then. Usually help to know. I loved science. It was my favorite subject at school, not mine. You would have been better off studying accounting. Loved reading science books as long as they have no math. I was always good at math and science, but I always, and I don't know why, you know. Sometimes I think I was like placed in a lot of science and math classes because I'm Asian. And I could naturally, for some reason, be really good at calculus and in physics in high school, you know, the formulas and whatever. But I never liked it. I was always into the arts. I was always into the reading and English and humanities. And I did like history. Well, I can't decide if I liked history in high school or I just liked my history teachers. And it's just amazing what a difference a teacher can make to make you like really. I had a teacher who was, what was her name? Mrs. LaRue? Anyway, she did, she was so enthusiastic, this is high school. She was so enthusiastic about history. I remember when she was like giving a course on World War I, and she was talking about the trenches, and she would like act out, you know, being in the trenches and what they were like. Parents could only afford to send one child to university, so it was my brother. Oh. Isn't it free? Is college free? So mom said not studying physics. The subjects I was bad at were French and music. I put that down to poor hearing. Now she has a PhD. Worst subject was the Bible and Hebrew. Somehow in history, I had to remember dates, but in Bible class I had to. I never had a Bible class. I'm sure it's a bigger thing in Israel, but I was raised Episcopalian, so I'm sure, because I was a altar boy, so I'm sure I had some classes. I just blocked out the memories. Altar boy was more just about remembering when to hand the priest the communion stuff. And but regarding like cultural things like Hebrew school, I always sort of was a little bit envious of my cousins, my Japanese cousins, who went to Japanese school, which I see was through the Buddhist temple, because we didn't have that where I grew up. But growing up, Japanese was like the secret language of adults. I'm sure lots of second generation immigrants have the same feeling. If your parents speak, or for me, it was my mother and grandmother would speak, and all the aunts and uncles speak Japanese, but I didn't. And my cousins that went to Japanese school, I don't know if they remember anything as adults, but it felt like they were like at least more included in the conversations of adults. I remember my grandmother asking me something. I had no idea what she was saying, and I looked at my cousin Stuart, and she goes, she wants to know if you want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I was like, oh shit. Hey, Evie is here. Yay. History was your major. I had a double major in English and journalism. University is no longer free. Like you would say, many students have to take out loans. Universities now are money-making schemes. Yeah, it's always said here, but capitalism getting its sticky fingers in everything. Garden. Okay, miss that. For me and my country, it's the last thing I have to worry about. At least our power company is still government owned. Murakami, Japanese author, kept trying to read. Now I have to get the mad one a drink, be back in a jiffy. When I went to college, now I get private schools, they're money makers, but for me at least, the state universities, at least it used to be in my day, you paid for it, but it wasn't like it is now. Fortunately, I had academic scholarships to University of Maryland, but even if I didn't, I believe for the entire year, it was $8,000, which included dorms and food. I think that was it. I think it was $4,000 a semester if you were living on campus with a food program. So $8,000 a year, if you were lucky enough, or for whatever reason you didn't need campus housing, I think it was $2,000 a semester, so $4,000 a year um, without housing, and a lot of like juniors and seniors left campus housing to like live in a group home or something. At least I did that. But anyway, so yeah, state schools, you paid money, but it wasn't like it is now. It isn't, even if you factor in inflation, it's nothing near like the debt you pile in now for state-run schools. Okay. Evie never gets it. Oh no, my college education cost almost nothing. I have to go get my dog from the groomer. Oh, post a picture on Instagram. Okay. My college was 500 semester in the late 80s, room and board about 800 a semester. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was cheaper at University of Maryland than I'm remembering. But $4,000 is really sticky in my mind. So it could have been 4,000 a year, but that seems cheap for room and board. But maybe I'm wrong. I think I might watch the movie about the British post office scandal. I don't know that one. Or else I will look to see if there's a book about it. You probably use a dog. I love dogs, but they're just so much responsibility compared to like a cat. Oh, by the way, my cat's doing pretty well. I think I had mentioned my cat Angel was really sick a couple months ago, and she lost a lot of weight. I mean, she was just skin and bones. She's, I think at her max, she was like 9 pounds, and she's like a larger cat. But then she dropped to 6 pounds, which is what, a third of the weight, or she lost a third of her weight. But anyway, so the vet prescribed her a round of antibiotics and to keep her on steroids. And she's gained her weight back. She was so sick she stopped grooming herself, and it was like really hard for her to move like up and down the stairs. But she's like a new cat now with the steroids. I took this way out. Okay. And here we go. The British post office scandals when hundreds of postmasters were prosecuted and sent to prison for theft, but then it was proven to be a problem with the software and no money was stolen at all. That is crazy. How did I not hear about that? Okay. Looked it up on Wikipedia, and it said in all between 99 and 2015, over 900 sub-postmasters were prosecuted and 236 went to prison. Post office itself prosecuted 700 people. When they were finally freed, I hope they were compensated. That's an area where you think, well, someone really needed to pay for that one. Oops. Okay. Wish I hadn't heard about that. Didn't think something like that could happen these days. A real downer. It seems like something like that could happen more often these days because it was basically a software glitch. Okay. Okay, so I think I am done with the eyes. Oh, found a book about it and added it to your wish list. Okie dokie. Downer. I'm angry at many things at the moment. I want to read the book. I'm the same as Frank. I think I've said this before. I don't usually have wish lists or TBRs. I mean, that's why for Shelve It or Shove It, I just do one book, pick one book. Oops. And that's the one I add. Oh, let me try this. No. Because I found if I have like a lot of books on a TBR that it kind of stresses me out. Because I did used to pick like more books for Shelve It or Shove It. But, I'm okay with just like one book. Okie dokie. I think we're done with the lips almost. The jigsaw puzzle on your wish list, but that is more for other people to buy presents for me. Yeah, I still watch that YouTuber, Karen Puzzles, even though I don't really do puzzles. Once in a while, she'll inspire me to do like an online puzzle. But I also don't know how my cat would react if there's like a lot of little pieces of puzzles on a table or something. Okay, I want to do eyelashes. On my wish list, not to be living under a friggin' bridge a year from now. Oh, it's an interesting wish. I love Karen Puzzle. She's so enthusiastic. And it's amazing what the puzzle community is like. It's just one of those things you never think about, but of course there must be puzzle enthusiasts out there that get into the history of puzzles and the collectability of puzzles and but her latest one are the puzzle championships or world puzzle events. And I'm glad she's sponsored by the puzzle company and that she has her own puzzle designs through that company, Ravensburger, because honestly, she's probably done more for the puzzle community or got more people back into puzzling than any advertising they could do. Oops, shoot. Because I never thought about puzzling until I saw her content. Even though I did puzzles when I was younger. In fact, my grandfather on my father's side handcrafted his own puzzles. It's really amazing. They're all out of wood. But apparently my father sold them for like big money, these handcrafted puzzles. Because my grandfather didn't sell them. He just gave them out as gifts to family members. Okay, so I think we are done with this look. Luigi's Lawyer is a Karen. Take puzzles to the community center every few months and swap them. That reminds me of little libraries where you swap books. Her actual name is Karen. She used to be a prosecutor. Feel sorry for all the nice Karens out there. I own one of Karen's puzzles. I haven't done it yet. Okay. Okay, guys, I think we're done. I think we're done. Move this mirror out of the way. And the wig I brought was this purple updo. Updo. If you watch RuPaul, you know what God, next month there's a new RuPaul's Drag Race too. Okay. So this is purple and gold. And once again, I'll be doing my top 10 books of 2024. I actually didn't have a great year of reading this adult books this year. But we'll see what happens in 2025. Hope springs eternal. I did read a lot of kids' books, but again, I'm trying to get into the kid lit market. It's actually because I did the Excel breakdown for stats. I did read like 50% middle grade and 50% adult. Okay, guys. Dementia can turn a woman into a Karen, even if she's a sweet person. My godparents' daughter's name was Karen. God, I wonder what happened to her. Last I heard, she was an aerobic instructor, but that was back in the 90s. Kind of smoky. Love that wig. Thank you so much. Yeah, I always like the smoking things out just because I'm not very precise, and smoking things out blends things better. Okay, guys, so I'll be doing the 2024 top 10 books this year and probably release that this month because I don't have any other video to release, except for the following week when I'll do the Shelf It or Shove It books for January. And I expect to be here next week, the 28th. Thank you for joining me. Once again, this is my birthday, and I'm spending it with you guys, and I'm going to film a video. So once again, everyone, thank you for joining, and as usual, may all the books you read be blessed.